If you want to drop body fat, feel better about the way you look, and be confident enough to take your top off or rock that bikini on your upcoming summer trip, you're going to want to watch this. Here's the steps that have helped clients that I work with go from this to this and this to this. If you want more bits of advice on fat loss like the ones in this video, the first link in the description is going to give you everything you need to know about fat loss for free. And if you want some help, support, accountability, and guaranteed results this summer, the second link is going to show you more about my coaching program where I help people get into the best shape, drop body fat, and feel great about themselves. When it comes to fat loss, there are people telling you a million different things online. These are going to be 5 of the most important things you need to have dialed in, be laser focused, which are going to guarantee you head in the right direction when it comes to fat loss to make sure you're in a great place when it comes to summer. Number 1, place yourself in a calorie deficit. You hear this online all the time, calorie deficit, and I am exactly who I'm talking about. I'll say this online, oh, you just need to be in a calorie deficit. But Joe, what is a calorie deficit? I hear it all the time, what is it? A calorie deficit is simply when your body, from what you're doing, you are burning more energy, calories, than you are consuming from food or energy. Food is energy, we burn energy. You need to be in a place where your body is burning more energy through movement, exercise, everything, than you are consuming. This is where the body uses its fat stores, and this is how you start to drop body fat. If you have too much energy, if you are consuming too much food, your body does not need to use it. Therefore, it stores it as fat and potentially some muscle. If you are trying to lose fat, the most important thing is that you are in a calorie deficit, burning more energy than you are consuming on a day-to-day basis. Easiest way to do this, there's lots of calorie calculators out there. Things like MyFitnessPal will give you a general idea, but it can vary, obviously, person to person. It should be aligned with what adults should be consuming on a day-to-day basis. Do not put yourself in a massive 50% deficit of 1,000 calories when you're super busy. That is going to put your body in survival mode, and essentially your body's not going to want to get rid of any fat because it wants to stay alive. Depending on your time frame, that is going to determine the deficit percentage you want to be in. If you're trying to lose a certain amount of body fat in a quick time, I do not recommend it massively, but you are going to want to be in a slightly steeper deficit. However, if you've got more time like we do now up until summer, about 3 months, you want to be starting really small, 5 to 10% deficit, and you can see great results. Try a few calculators, get the average number, track your weight, pictures, measurements, and over 1 to 2 weeks, see at the rate of which you are losing weight, body fat, and you can determine if that deficit is enough. Moving on, high protein, nutrient dense food. Now this is eating clever, boxing clever, eating clever. You need to be absolutely on it with what you are consuming when it comes to these fat loss phases. You need to find nutrient dense foods, and what I mean by that is foods that are high in volume but low in calories in order to help you feel satiated, help you feel fuller for longer, which will mean you are less likely to snack, binge, grab loads of treats. At the minute, I'm obsessed with overnight oats, and I know it's nothing new. I'm not reinventing the wheel, and yeah, Joe, you're 7 years late to the party, but honestly, I'm finding that for between 400 and 600 calories, I can get even a sweet hit in there if I want, Nutella, Biscoff spread. You can make variations of fruit ones, and you've got oats in there, or crush up Weetabix. You've got high protein yogurt. There's so much variation. Things like that where you can have a good meal, snack, 400 to 500, 600 calories, and a good protein content as well, are going to be your best friend. Any sweet treats, if you've got a sweet tooth, you need to find. I'm not saying don't have them, but you need to consider if you're going to have that chocolate bar, okay, is that going to fuel me sufficiently for what I'm doing for the rest of the day? If the answer is no, maybe reconsider. The answer will probably be no. But do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go into war with chocolate bars. I love chocolate bars. The more food you can eat for the less calories, which obviously tastes okay, nice, it depends. If you're somebody who can just eat the same thing again and again and again, a bit like me, you will be fine. If you're somebody who needs a little bit more variation, I like to try different sauces in things. I like to try different seasoning in things. For sustainability, you need to find that perfect balance of eating nutrient-dense foods throughout the week, weekend, whatever, and also having that enjoyment factor of being able to go out for a meal when you want, be able to have a drink when you like, if you like drinking, whatever it is, you can do that even in a fat loss phase. To do this, go through a period of actually tracking your food so you can have a bigger insight into how many calories go into what you're consuming. And in these fat loss phases, I do like to track my calories because I find it keeps me regimented. And even now, even though I've done it for years, I find things or forget things, how many calories are in them. And that is so, so powerful when it's put in front of you, black and white, and you can see what you are consuming. You cannot go wrong. Next point, resistance training 3 times per week, at least. Now, you may be training less than this. You may be training more than this. What is so important in this build up to summer is that you are training in the gym. You are doing resistance training. If you're doing 3 days a week, you're probably following a full body split. If you're doing 4 days a week, you may be going upper, lower, whatever it is. And there's lots out there online. I've got videos on it. Or obviously you can get me to program your workouts for only for £20 per week, not the full one-to-one coaching package. That's £40 a week. If you are looking for a bit more clarity with what you're doing in the gym, check out that second link. And I've got a couple of options. Program only. Program starts at about £20 per week, and one-to-one coaching is about £40 a week. And that is a great option to make sure you know what you're doing for how many times you can train when you go into the gym. The resistance training is so important in a fat loss phase, especially because when you're in a deficit, you need to make sure you're having that high protein diet to keep the muscle and hold on to as much muscle tissue as possible and repair it from training. But also the training is going to help retain and maintain that muscle mass as well. Thinking of your training, building that physique that you want, the wide shoulders, maybe narrow hips, the legs, the glutes, whatever it is specific to your fitness physique goal, and think of lifestyle and nutrition as the thing that reveals that. One can't work well without the other. You're not going to be burning thousands and thousands of calories from training, and I find that people often overestimate the amount of calories that are burnt when something like strength training or resistance training, but it is also going to help, obviously, create that deficit as well. Next one, extra expenditure. This is a little secret weapon. Now, lots of people say to lose fat, you need to eat less. That is true. However, I find it much more enjoyable, and not many people speak about it, to move more. Do more. Go for a walk before work, after work, at lunchtime. Can you take a call while you go for a walk? If it's paddle, go and play once, twice a week. Can you do that? Is it tennis? Is it football, walking football, whatever it is, five-a-side? Is there any other thing you can add into your routine which is actually going to help you increase expenditure, increase movement, burn more energy? People talk about 10,000 steps. The reason why 10,000 steps actually works is obviously because you're moving, but because you've got that goal of 10,000, you've got a number of numerical value, people often tend to try and stick for that and aim for that. Don't be overwhelmed by it. Like I've said before in another video, it was made to actually market a pedometer, a step counter, and don't be overwhelmed. You can absolutely lose fat at 5,000, 7,000 steps per day. If you've never walked 10,000 steps, set your target of 5,000 steps for a couple of weeks and then see if you can gradually increase. If 10,000 steps, and maybe you live in London, is an absolute everyday. I had a client join last week who lives central London, does so many steps. He did like 10K before 9 a.m. the other day because he's busy and before work. You will not have this problem. The more active you can be day to day, the more calories you can burn, the easier and the faster you are going to be burning and losing fat. Last but not least, hydrate. Hydrate, 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 hydrate. You should be aiming for roughly 2 to 3 litres of water per day. Now, this can vary, obviously. If it's super hot or you're super active and you're sweating lots, you should probably be consuming a little bit more. This is going to help support your metabolism when it comes to fat loss, making sure your body is functioning properly and all the vital organs are functioning properly to support the fat loss. But also, you're going to be replacing something that's potentially high in calories, so using up that potential deficit that you've created, like Fanta, Coke, sugary drinks, high calorie pop, all of those things, with water, which has 0 calories. A massive hack. When I'm in a fat loss phase, I just try and drink as much water as possible. If you're like me, I am terrible at remembering to drink water. I get up first thing and I don't want to drink half a litre of water. I have to start slow, steady, little intervals throughout the day, make sure I get a couple, 4 or 5 of these 500ml water bottles done. I've put together everything you need to know about fat loss in the first link in the description. You can grab that for absolutely free. And if you want those guaranteed results, help, support, and accountability, just somebody else to help you and actually make sure you do the work so you can feel confident, take your top off or rock that bikini this summer. The second link is going to tell you more about that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and YouTube's going to suggest a video here which is going to help with your fitness goals.